The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah, go Cowboys!
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
We are 100 days away from kickoff in Philadelphia. And this is Mick Shots, our unofficial start to summer. Memorial Day is over, and now it's summertime, but school is still in session. Here it's OTA time, week number 2 at the Star in Frisco.
You'll be out there today?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep, back out there today.
How long are OTA?
Tomorrow?
They go.
Another week after this.
No, they go 10 OTA sessions or 9, and then
9 are scheduled.
an extra one.
Yeah.
Okay, 9. So they had 3 last week.
Yeah.
They went Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday last week.
Mm-hmm.
They're going Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week, and then they got 3 next week, and then they got the mandatory minicamp the week after that.
Well, just so you know, I had a business meeting at the Cowboys Club, and this short guy comes up to me.
It wasn't me.
No, he wasn't that short. No, he's a little taller than you. And he said he calls me wallpaper because he said I will stick to him. So Kelvin Martin.
Really?
Yes,
Kmart.
man. He was up here with his son.
All right.
To watch the OTA practice. He was up at the Cowboy Club.
Kmart's son was a good player.
Yeah.
Played for one of the killer schools. Can't remember which one.
Yeah, no, it was
I saw him
so
play
good
in high
to
school.
see him.
Yeah.
The meeting was pretty important. I couldn't break away from it, but man, I hugged him so. I had my armpit all over his face. Like, what's up? What's up? But no, man, it was just good to see. He looks good too, man.
I'm not sure I'd recognize him.
You would. He looks exactly the same.
All right.
He looks exactly the same. I don't know what happened to his gray hair. It disappeared.
Greatest play in Kelvin Martin's career was?
The punt return against Philadelphia.
Right.
Exactly right. Yep. Isn't that funny how that was now 34 years ago or whatever it was, and that's what you're remembered by.
My daughter said it last night. He said, "You guys, y'all remember everything about sports like right away." She said that last night.
Yeah, that's right.
He might have been, arguably one of the top third wide receivers in Cowboy history.
Mm-hmm. Consistency. His consistency
Top
was
third. 3. The third receiver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. One of the top
third.
the most
receivers.
dependable number 3 receiver.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying. Yeah.
Now, I guess Beasley would enter into
the conversation.
Preston Pearson.
Preston was, but he was more of a running back.
Yeah, but he was our third down guy.
Well, who was the
It was
other?
a different era, and so you didn't play.
He started this third down thing.
But it was Hayes.
But he wasn't a slot receiver.
No, but the slot receiver.
Yeah.
He said,
So are you talking
slot
receiver?
Third, third.
I'm sorry. That slot receiver is a third down receiver. You're talking third downs. You're talking Preston Pearson was the beginning of all of that.
That's
right.
true.
Yeah,
and you consider it's a different era of football where you would play only 2 wide receivers on the field at a given time.
I agree.
And so he was the third receiver coming out of the backfield.
And then here comes Butch Johnson.
Butch, that's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
You had Drew,
Tony Hill,
and then Butch Johnson.
You're not fast enough, man. We need to talk about
I was contemplating.
That's my childhood, man. Come on.
That's right. That's right. So good. That was good to hear that Kmart was out here. And so was it practice going on when
yes,
you were?
he was actually out there on the patio or whatever.
Were you able to spy on practice from up there?
No, I had business to take.
Which day was it?
That was Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll rely on Mickey to give us a report.
From Wednesday, right?
Now I did see Will Greer.
Yeah.
Throwing the passes. I couldn't see if Dak was out there. What's the black quarterback? What number is he?
Milton.
10.
10? Was it number 10? I don't know if I saw 10 out there.
Well, he's got
I'm sure he was out there, but I don't know if
he's got a hell of an arm as advertised. Now it's a matter of where he decides to throw the ball.
That's the one that threw it like
and how he can.
Oh,
he's got a gun.
think he threw a tennis ball 100 yards or something like that.
Well, I don't know about that. He didn't throw no tennis ball 100 yards.
An orange.
An orange?
Yeah.
Okay. Something heavier
That
than a
sounds, yeah,
tennis ball, right?
And so an open media day was Tuesday last week at the practice. They didn't practice on Wednesday.
That's right, Tuesday.
So we need to get Mickey's review on what he saw out on the practice field. There was also the day that players talked to the media, and for the veteran players, basically the first time we've heard from them since the end of the season to speak of. And so there's a lot to get to here on this edition of Mick Shots.
So I thought the practice, and this was probably pretty predictable with a new coaching staff. Everything was pretty fast-paced. There was no walking between drills. Guys were running. There was a lot of energy. The coaching staff, a lot of passion. And there were some different drills they were doing than we've been used to, and that usually happens than we're used to seeing over the past 4 years. And yeah, I thought it was good. Most everybody was there. One person wasn't. You can guess who it was?
Diggs.
No. Well, he's still rehabbing, so even if he was here, he wouldn't have been doing it. Mr. I'm going to be a leader, Micah Parsons, wasn't leading in the OTAs.
He didn't show up?
He was there on Monday.
He was there Monday.
Okay.
But did he do anything on Monday?
I don't know. I wasn't here.
Yeah.
So wait, what do we have going on here?
Well,
is he
I
trying to
guess
make a stand?
I think he's making somewhat of a hold in, right? Sort of like.
Well, if he's not here, it's not a hold in.
Hey, I like that though.
No, he might be here, but he wasn't
on the field
in the OTA practice.
Okay.
Hold in. I like that.
Yeah.
Is that
Sort of like what Zach
am I
Martin.
the only one hearing this for the first time?
No, but we invented it last year with Zach, and maybe the year before with C.D. Lamb.
Well, San Francisco wide receiver last year was a hold in.
Ayuk.
Yeah, and he was at training camp, though he wasn't getting fined, but he wasn't doing anything until he got his contract.
So, but yeah, it was guys that were still rehabbing, did their rehab. Although John Stevens and Revel did a little bit more kind of individual stuff. They didn't do any of the team stuff. Dak, I thought, to me, I wrote about it on Friday. Everybody talked about, Pickens and C.D. Lamb being on the field together and this and that. But I thought the most remarkable thing was Dak was out there going through the entire practice. And when they went to 11 on 11, he was throwing. And if you think about it, as important as the quarterback position is, him already being out there. Now, we were talking afterwards, and he was telling me how well he felt, can do everything. He's just not cleared for contact. And it's like, well, okay, fine, but you ain't going to have contact in the OTAs or the mini camp. And chances are, when training camp starts, he may have a double red jersey on. It's like, keep your hands off him, right? So
his first contact comes 100 days from today.
That's exactly right. Because I was saying, even if and I don't think he'll play in preseason games, but if he does, seeing that he missed more than half the season last year, they can control by play call to keep him out of contact.
I would think that he might play in the preseason.
I think he might do something. Because
he would want that.
Because they can call quick passes, little flares, just kind of get him in the rhythm of a game. But you're right. Basically, the first time he's going to expose to real contract will be 100 days.
So we can expect.
Did you stay up all night counting sheep to know how many?
No, it got tweeted out today. I haven't even checked it to make sure.
See if it's
He did
right.
no work. He did no work.
Tom Pelissero tweeted it, and so it said 100 days till kickoff, so he must be talking about the Cowboys-Eagles game. I haven't even checked his work to make sure, but it sounded like a good round number. I thought I'd go with it.
Well,
So I thought that was probably, to me anyway, if you kind of look at, and I think people forget after this past year, you know, the season Dak had in 2023, when I can tell you, because I just have his stats.
And I just have confirmed it in my own mind. It is 100 days.
Okay, very
I added up.
good.
We got 4 days left in May. We got 30 in June, 31 in July, 31 in August, then 4 in
And
September.
4.
That adds up to 100. So go ahead.
So anyway, Dak in 2023 led the NFL in completions, was second in completion percentage, third in yards, first in touchdowns with 36, which was one less than his club record of 37 single season. He was second in percentage of touchdown passes and number 2 in quarterback rating at 105.9 behind Brock Purdy, who was 113. So he had one hell of a year in 2023 when this team went 12-5. And I think people forget that because I was at a function a week ago, and I was like, yeah, Dak, he's just overpaid this and that. And it's like, okay, but go look at his stats, and they missed him last year. And he has not had a losing season other than the ones that he got injured in.
Which brings me
Yes.
to there was a ranking of quarterbacks that came out last week.
You know, I'm sure. Go
by
ahead.
one of your, well, I think it may be your least favorite, but I'll just say one of your least favorite entities put out a list ranking the quarterbacks in
Okay.
the league. And Dak Prescott was
number
ranked.
12.
No, take another wild guess.
8.
One of them
number it
already
was.
was out. They had him at number 12.
Okay, you had, 12 is your guess.
8.
8. Try 17.
Oh, Jesus.
Number 17 ranked quarterback.
And what was that based on?
Well, I didn't read it to know exactly what it was based on. It was a ranking of the starting quarterbacks in the league, and he came in at number 17, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, people,
That tells you how
That
discredited
was what we
that
call
entity is.
clickbait.
Yeah,
yeah, that's all it is.
absolutely.
And anytime there's two names you can come up with for clickbait: LeBron James and Dak Prescott. If you want to, well, probably Luka as well.
Yeah.
Luka as well. Those 3 athletes right now in sports, for some reason, as far
Caitlin
as
Clark.
is concerned, that's a whole nother.
That's another one.
Yeah, that's another one. And
She
so,
better hurry up and get healthy.
well,
Because she's coming here and playing on June
know.
27th.
Would she be?
They
got
said
tickets?
she's out for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Well, that-
she has a
oh,
quad
she'll be able-
injury.
It's
She'll
close.
be okay. She'll be okay. She'll be here. And so,
Hi, Producer Supreme. How are you?
this is mine. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Special delivery.
No.
Oh,
Oh, this is it.
that's your reads?
This is the this is the rankings.
Oh,
This is the quarterback rankings.
I thought it was your. I didn't even look at it because I figured it's Producer
Is
Supreme.
it all
was-
17?
Oh, this got all the quarterbacks.
I want to know who's after 10.
Okay.
Who's after 10? That's Purdy is after 10. He's at 11.
Okay.
Geno Smith is 10.
You want me to go through the whole thing?
Go through the whole
so
thing.
that you don't click on their clickbait?
I'm piecemealing it to
Okay.
Yeah.
1 through 4 is Mahomes, Burrow, Jackson, Allen. 5 through 8 are Hurts, Daniels, Stafford, and Herbert. That gets you, okay, Tier 1 was elite, the top 4. Tier 2, high-end starters were Hurts, Daniels, Stafford, and Herbert. Tier 3A solid starters who have flashed high-end ability. Number 9, Goff. 10, Geno Smith. 11, Brock Purdy. Tier 3B, solid starters, but they need more help. 12, Jordan Love. 13, Baker Mayfield. 14, C.J. Stroud. 15, Kyler Murray. 16, Trevor Lawrence. 17, Dak Prescott.
Trevor Lawrence.
18, Tua. You got
19, you got
Bo Nix. It's basically the rest of the quarterbacks in the league. No, okay, that ended. 18 was the end of Tier 3B. They need more help. Tier 4, young players with a wide range of potential outcomes. Nix, Young, McCarthy, who hadn't played. How do you rank somebody who hadn't played?
So where's the start of it?
May, Penix, and on. Okay, what?
What was the preface to the ranking?
Well,
Was
producer
it
Sabrina
off
didn't
of
bring
what
that.
they did last year,
Well, it's where they rank them right now going into this season.
based on their careers?
Well, it's where I don't know. You'll have to ask them.
Geno,
You want to get them on the show?
Geno Smith? Seriously?
Geno didn't play that badly last year.
Last year.
Yeah.
What's he done the other 8 years?
He showed improvement. He's trending upward as far as his improvement is concerned.
But not good enough to stay where he was.
Right.
But we saw Dak for 6 games plus part of another one last year. And prior to that, what we saw from Dak, he was second in the MVP voting, but he's
Yes.
the 17th best quarterback in the league now.
Now let's be real. Not only was he high up in the voting, he had his wide receiver high up in the voting as well. So to me, that just goes to show how well Dak was playing. Not only was he up for MVP, but C.D. Lamb was balling.
Right.
And so that was C.D.'s best year.
And keep in mind, last year, he did not have C.D. Lamb in training camp. He didn't sign until the week before the season started. And he lost Brandon Cooks, his number 2 wide receiver, in the 4th game of the year. And so he didn't have him the last 3 or 4 games that he played in.
And they couldn't decide who the running back was, by the way,
Yeah.
until halfway through the season. Then the guy ran for 1,000 yards and made enough money to leave here. And then he got hurt. By the way.
And when you think of last year, and you think of the offseason that we had last year, where CD and Dak really didn't get a chance to work together as much as we wanted them to, if you recall.
Oh, no.
And
None at all.
They came into the season totally not on the same page. They came into the season looking like the Green Bay playoff game. That's the way they came into the last season. And so now I'm sure Dak is like, we are not letting this crap happen again. I'm sure CD and even the coaches are like, we're going to make sure that our quarterback and our wide receivers get as much practice together as possible, and especially with the new number 1A coming in from Pittsburgh.
And the thing that people forget about the playoff loss in 2023, the defense gave up 48 points.
Yeah, that's true.
48. Go show me quarterbacks, and I looked it up once, that had winning records in the playoffs when their team gave up at least 30 or more points.
I think we forget about all the great quarterbacks that have come through the NFL. And we forget about those, the more successful ones were the ones that had a defense that supported them. You can go all the way back through history. You can go Joe Montana. You can go Steve Young. You can even go Troy Aikman. You're talking about teams that had a defense that could counter or at least assist, enhance what your offense was doing.
But throw in Peyton Manning and John Elway.
There you go.
All right, and here's what was said about Dak Prescott on
All right.
his number 17 ranking here. Prescott remains the epitome of a quarterback who thrives against weaker opponents, but falters when the competition stiffens. He earned a 90.0 PFF grade in 2023, behind only Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes. So that would put him as in the top tier. He was 4th then. okay, before a late season collapse ended his MVP bid. In 2024, the Cowboys stumbled early and a season-ending injury. Wait a second, we'll get back to that. And a season-ending injury sidelined Prescott before he could rebound. To rejoin the top 10 conversation, he must recapture the 2023 form and prove he can deliver against the league's best.
So it was
now let's go back to the late season in 2023.
Yeah,
Let's do
please.
He had victories over Philadelphia and Detroit in the last 5 games of the 2023 season.
I don't know when the Minnesota game was, but that was Minnesota at that time was a top tier.
That was second half of the year.
Second half of the year, and we put 40 on them, right? We put 40 on them. Am I right?
So where were the losses?
That was the Buffalo and Miami losses. In December. They lost to Buffalo and Miami. Miami was a tight game, basically came down to the not scoring on the goal line. Mm-hmm. And Buffalo was the game that they elected not to play a linebacker in that game. And Jaron Kearse was playing linebacker much of the game. And Buffalo ran for 265 yards on 49 carries.
I was just going to bring that up. And he couldn't beat him.
And we still should have beaten them. Not Buffalo, but Miami, of course, your boy, fumbled into the end zone, right?
Yeah.
We fumbled into the end zone. And so that game could have been won. He fumbled into the end zone. We're on the 1-yard line.
See, I'm telling you.
Was it Hunter? Lipke?
Oh, Hunter. Yeah, Hunter Lipke.
Because he didn't know they were handing him.
I was like,
I remember things too.
Well, I was Rex Burke had never played for the Cowboys. Yeah, Hunter Lipke. Okay.
You remember now? Yes, you. That was your. You were.
Who, by the way, who's in the mix in this running back situation still?
You know what? I don't even mess with him anymore because he actually has done a lot of good things.
That's right. I was right on him.
And you know what? Another.
We'll keep that. Well, that's another conversation.
Another off season for him. He looks bigger. Almost looks like a fullback now. Judging from what we saw.
So he's your
So
third
see,
tight
I
end.
told you this place does have no credibility whatsoever.
Well, that was fun.
That was.
Yeah, that was good. And the other thing I wanted to point out about Dak,
Chris.
think about the injury he had, okay? And we just take for granted that, well, you just come back, right? We're talking about a hamstring ligament pulled away from the bone. I don't know if I've heard of that before.
Well, I'm not just that injury. I mean, he came to have the great year. He came off of a broken ankle, which is something that was horrific to watch. And for him to come back from that and play as well as he did in 23.
Well, 21 and 22 also, by the way.
Now, if you're going to rank quarterbacks and you're projecting how well they'll do this year and you're going to factor in, okay, the injury history, I'm not saying you rank him 17th, but that would bring him down a level just because you're not sure if he can play a full season or not because he's had some injury issues here lately. But, I mean, it's just ludicrous to go into this season saying, based on what we've seen when he has been healthy the last couple of years, to rank him in the bottom half of the league of the starting quarterbacks in the league.
Bottom half of the league.
They just made sure they put him in the bottom half of the league at number 17.
And that just feeds into the narrative out there that people have about him, by the way. Because and I don't care who you are.
The most scrutinized quarterback in the NFL.
If you don't, as a quarterback, win a Super Bowl, no one ever changes their opinion that they had of you from the start, right? So I always compared it to political candidates. If that's your guy, short of like doing something that he's got to be thrown into prison, you don't change your opinion.
He and Josh Allen are on the same level, except for Josh didn't have as many injuries. That's the difference that they have, I think. Both have the potential to go to the Super Bowl, did not. Except for the injuries, I think he and Josh Allen are very similar in the output, leadership, all of that.
And other than winning the Super Bowl, people that didn't like him from the start, don't change.
But they love Josh, though.
Well,
They love Josh.
because it's Buffalo.
Why?
They love their teams in Buffalo.
Jeez, everyone loves Buffalo.
They still don't think the Stars scored the winning goal.
All right, we're just getting started on. Oh, and we've got a shorter show, so we're going to have to get through these next couple
we
of
have
segments
people
quicker.
after us,
That's
right?
right, because our early start time on this Tuesday because of the Memorial Day holiday, and we'll be back with more Mick Shots in just a moment.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Hot mix waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof backpacks. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like Mama's recipes. Take your steak, cornbread, cobbers, pot pie, and potatoes next oval with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
Hey, Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle?
Visit blockchain.com/cowboys to get started.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Back to Mick Shots.
Cowboys Nation, the 2025 Dallas Cowboys schedule is officially here, and limited tickets are available now. Get ready to bring the noise as you watch your Cowboys live at AT&T Stadium when they host NFC East rivals Eagles, Giants, and Commanders, plus the Packers, Chiefs, Chargers, Vikings, and Cardinals. Visit DallasCowboys.com/tickets or SeatGeek.com, the official primary ticketing partner of the Dallas Cowboys single game tickets.
All right, very good. Producer Supreme doing a supreme job.
Man,
this
he has
morning.
been currying.
He's on top of things.
He's currying and everything.
Amazing what a long weekend did for him to get his juices flowing again.
He was chomping at the bit to get back here on Tuesday.
That's exactly right. All right. You got anything you want to go with right now? Because I've got something if you don't.
No, go ahead.
During the break, there was some music coming out of the cell phone of one Everson Walls over there, and he happened to be watching a music video of Shavon Revel.
Shavon.
The Cowboys' third-round draft pick out of East Carolina. And I thought it was very interesting to hear Everson say this. This guy plays like me.
He does.
I feel like I'm watching me when I watch
man.
his highlights.
I know exactly what he's doing, why he's doing it, what he's thinking while he's doing it. He's good. No, he's good. And he's not just playing the receiver. He's playing the ball. He's playing the play, So it's almost as if he knows what's coming. His anticipation is very well.
Which is rather remarkable for the short college career he had.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, began at Lewisburg College in 2020. The Lewisburg College Hurricanes, of course, due to the pandemic, there was no season his freshman year, only played 6 games in 2021, and then he transferred to East Carolina.
And played basically a season and a half, 2 seasons. I don't know that he played the
Well, he
entire
got hurt
season.
in third or fourth game of the year last season.
After the third game last year.
So
now, just his ability to negate the wide receiver speed is what I like about it. He positions himself within the route, within the possession of the route. He knows. I think he had to play wide receiver. He had to have played wide receiver before because he knows what the wide receiver is trying to do as he runs through the route.
I think maybe college, high school.
He probably same. Just like
show his high school.
I'm sure he played wide receiver.
Probably played both.
School.
he played. He attended Richard J. Reynolds High School before transferring to Ronald Reagan High School in nearby Pafftown, North Carolina. Played cornerback and wide receiver for their football team, and also lettered in track and field.
No, he's me with a little bit of speed.
All right. So, what was your playing height and weight?
6'2", 194.
Well,
that was yours?
Yeah.
That's what he is.
He's 6'1" and 7/8", 194.
Yeah, I was lying about 6'2", thanks, yeah. Because I was
6'1" and 7/8".
Something. Yeah.
194 pounds. Seriously?
It was about like...
You weren't looking at his number?
No, that's what I was.
At the combine, he measured 6'1" and 7/8", 194 pounds.
And I always just round mine up to 6'2".
Arm length.
Yeah.
Arm length. What kind of arm length do you have?
What am I couldn't tell. It's that long.
Say 32 and 5/8.
Mine is longer than that. I think mine's longer.
Well, you'd round it off to 33.
Now let's get...
And about your hand span?
I don't know. Big palms, but short.
Nine and 5/8.
What about
big hands?
I got big hands.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, look at his hand. Yeah. Man, look at those hands.
What
9
about
and
the
5/8.
40 speed?
Wait, no, this is better. Well, he didn't run a 40.
Well,
he has an ACL.
No, but he has a
did
number
when
down.
he went to East Carolina.
He runs like a 4.4.
Yes.
Something.
Yes.
But he did do the bench press, and that's what I'm getting at here.
Yeah, mine
How
was
many
hard.
times can you bench 225
I don't
pounds?
even know. I'm sure it was horrible.
Well,
I'm pretty sure. To what? 225?
225. How many times can you?
It wasn't 10.
Okay, he's at 12.
Yeah.
So he's got that on.
Yeah.
Okay, we found one thing.
Yeah. No, but
he's got better training though than you.
What do you
back in
mean?
the day. I mean, back in the you didn't have a
You didn't
personal
work on the
trainer or
bench
anything
press,
like that.
right?
No, I wasn't. We had to make up weights at Grambling my senior year because, we were just that dead.
I bet he played center field in baseball too. Like
he probably did in Pee Wee League high school, Pee Wee League baseball, true. But no, his ability to cut the receiver off and negate his speed is something that he naturally does. And I think, when you start talking about guys that kind of develop late in their careers, he's coming from here. Mm-hmm. He's not trying to show you physically that he's got the greatest technique, but he's coming from here first. So his concentration is not on what kind of technique he has. His concentration is on where the receiver's going and how can I get the ball. Because you can see that he's always looking for the ball. And we've got Diggs, we've got Bland. Those guys can do it well, but they want to run with the receiver. It's a challenge for them to keep up with the receiver. With guys like myself and Revel, it's about negating your progress down the field. And now I become the receiver as opposed to being the defender. So you got guys like Diggs and Bland who love the race. They love the chase. I think with this guy here, it's all about the intellect. It's all about I'm going to run the route better than you. It's not about speed.
Speaking of Bland, in some of the defensive sets when they were 11 on 11, Bland was working out of the slot.
Was he?
Yes.
That's good. That's good.
So,
and that's basically where he got his start in the NFL.
Right,
Was working
before
the slot
the-
when Jordan Lewis went down with an injury, and then
they had another injury, and he moved outside.
Mm-hmm.
So, outside then, with no Diggs here, Elam was at one spot, who is a guy that they really need to, if he's got it in him, to step up and become somebody that was drafted in the first round that Buffalo gave up on.
Wow.
So he's got some measurables and whatever that, encourage. Now, it was a late first-round pick, but if they can get something out of him, because, if Revel's ready and they get something out of him and Diggs gets back at some point, and Bland is on the field, then you feel better about the cornerback position. But at this point, to me, I still think they got to keep their eye on a veteran who's still out there in free agency.
What about Carson?
And he's another one.
Mm-hmm.
Can he take that next step? Because he got off to a good start, had the shoulder injury, had to come back from it in the offseason. Now, can he get back to where he was in training camp? And those are things you really don't know until you start playing tackle football.
They had a couple of DBs out there, veteran DBs, and are they still out there? Have any moves been made within the last week?
There have been no moves made within the last week, and I think, Mickey, what you're talking about is this is a time where they're figuring out what they have,
right,
and where they are in the rehab on the guys coming off injuries. And I think once we get through this 3-week process through the mandatory minicamp, then they'll reassess and see what they have heading forward in the training camp.
Because
if they've got enough there,
whatchamacallit's still out there, right? Shavon
Gilmore's still out there, and there's some others too.
So, and those guys don't want to.
No, they don't want to go through all of this.
No. And they'll sit tight.
And then their pay could increase depending on injuries that happen in the off season and on into training camp, really. So it'd probably be training camp before.
But I going back to our first segment, though, I can't stress how important it is that our quarterback is out there.
Yes. That was a serious injury. I don't know that people understand that.
No, I mean, I'm talking about the connection. With
I know, but from a physical standpoint,
no doubt.
We take that stuff for granted. Oh, he got hurt, he had surgery, you get back. Well, not so much.
I'm still extremely nervous about that injury.
Well,
I'm not going to lie to you, because I've never heard of something like that happening.
So, and I can't remember. It was how he got tackled. I'm trying to remember how the injury occurred.
Well, I don't know if it occurred, but I remember it was shown on the throw.
Because he couldn't step into it.
Yeah, but
he had made a run before,
right?
And remember, that game he was actually running more
all over the damn place.
Yeah, that's right.
So for all those people that want to see him run the ball more,
right?
All right, one more break, and we're back to wrap up Mix Shots in just a moment.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pregame sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle.
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pregame sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. brisket in the smoker, Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mixed Shots.
This summer, step onto the field with Dallas Cowboys youth football and dance camps presented by Invisalign. Athletes of all skill levels, ages 6 to 16, are invited to learn from former NFL players and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. Campers have the chance to learn technical skills and lessons on teamwork. Visit DallasCowboys.com/camps to learn more. Wait, we got football and cheerleaders. Football and dance camps. What if a guy wants to do both?
What's the timing on them?
The timing?
Yeah,
You can't.
What do you mean?
You could probably do both.
Do both.
Yeah, they're both there, but it's just doesn't seem like the right mix. You got the girls, and then you got the guys over there. Well, it doesn't have to be just girls and guys. It could be.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right.
The girls could go to the football
there you go.
camp,
And
too.
the guys
They
can
got
come
the
to
flag
the
football
dance
going
camps.
on now,
You're right.
too. Yeah. All right, Mickey, we got our final 5 minutes here of Mixed Shots for this week, and so give it your best shot.
What do you guys think of the – oh, by the way, I was going to point this out. They're not playing any games on the offensive line. Like, usually at this time of year when they get rookies come in, they kind of wait their turn behind the veteran.
Yeah.
Tyler Booker is your starting right guard.
Really?
Yeah. He was out there first. Usually it's like, well, in deference to the veteran, this guy's got to earn his way. They ain't even BSing with that.
What's the number one question mark on this team?
I think the number one question mark that is more prevalent than, say, what's going to happen at linebacker, which I think is significant, is the running back position. What do you think?
I'll go left tackle.
He's a guy that has to – I did a deal last week on the guys that need to take the next step. We always talk about who's
the biggest jump that a player makes in his career is from the first year to the second year.
Well, it better be, because they're counting on him.
Really?
I mean, that's the old
That's
saying.
what the coaches would say.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're counting
Everson doesn't buy into that.
Yeah, because he jumped his first year. Everybody's not Everson Walls, okay? They're counting on him because there's really no other alternative there that I think they'd sink their teeth into. They had Awesome Richards working at guard most of the time. So at that left tackle position, he needs to make that jump to solidify that offensive line.
I have to disagree, and I think I kind of go back and forth on this. I don't know how consistent I've been, but our defensive front needs to be bigger. We need some big boys.
Well,
we need some big boys. We need some.
No, they need some bad boys.
Well, yeah, bad boys with big bodies.
Right.
You got to have the big body. I don't care how bad you are. You get your butt swallowed up down there at around 280 pounds or whatever. You got to have some guys closer to 300 pounds down there. In that, what they call it, one technique. You got to have some guys down there for that because, man, we're going to come up against some running teams in the NFC East.
Right.
Well, they're throwing a lot of seventh-round draft picks at it.
Well,
right? From Justin Rogers last year to Jay Toia this year to Tommy Bagodu.
So Solomon Thomas is going to play in there. Now, he's just a shade under 300.
He's not one of those guys.
If we have not shown that we can stop the run last year, what do you think they're going to come out doing to us this year?
Oh, no. That's why guys like, and you're right, it's all like 7th round or.
Well, it's Mozzie, and
Mozzie's got to take another
He's got
step.
to.
Mozzie,
He's another one of my guys.
He's got to. What's Mozzie's dimensions?
Well, he was listed coming out as 337 pounds.
Okay. And
Right
he lost
now-
it.
He lost down to 300.
That's fine.
a year.
They've got him listed at 6'3", 325. So he's kind of back to where he needed to
That's
be.
what he needs
for
to be.
whatever reason he lost that weight. And then Justin Rogers is back at 322.
He may have added more muscle, which
good.
equals pounds.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the guy that's their 91st person, because he's an international guy. He grew up or was born in the Bahamas.
Oh, yeah.
Denzel Daxon, he's 322.
And then what is
Toya is 342.
He's the 7th round draft pick out of UCLA.
And Ernest Brown is listed at 6'5", 300. But they've got him listed as a defensive end. So you're right on the defensive line. That has to significantly change because teams ran on them last year. Still, that hasn't changed, and they'll try again. But again, if that does improve, then the linebacker thing gets
That was next.
negated, right?
Yeah, that was next. That's what I was looking at.
And when they were in nickel, the two linebackers, the majority of the time that were out there were Murray and Sanborn.
You know, it's interesting. We haven't heard much talk about Kenneth Murray.
I know. They've got him
signed.
playing outside.
Okay.
So if it was three linebackers right now, I think it would be Leofau, Murray, and Sanborn.
So who's your green dot?
Sanborn, I think. Believe it or not, at this point, I thought
So
Murray,
Sanborn was playing in the middle?
yeah, I thought it'd be the other way around.
I mean, we'll see.
So Kendrick's not coming back?
No.
I doubt it. And
Kenneth Murray takes his spot.
it would be a
As far as salary-wise, veteran.
huge bonus if Damone Clark took a next step, because we forget when he ended up starting in 2023, he led the team in tackles, by the way. And I don't know if he fell out of favor last year with how Zim was running his defense.
That's the thing. It's a third different defensive coordinator in the last 3 years, and so you don't know what Eberflus thinks about these linebackers.
Right.
It could be different from what Zimmer thought, from what Quinn thought.
Well,
We know what Quinn thought. He didn't. After Van Der Esch got hurt, he didn't have any linebackers.
I like how do you say his name? Eberflus? Eberflus. I love his concentration is on linebackers.
That's his.
He was a linebacker assistant. Yeah.
They had good linebackers.
See, and
in Chicago.
I think he somewhat trusts Sanborn. He's never been a starter, but he had him with the Bears. And when they brought him in, I was thinking, well, okay, it's a special teams guy, nice backup guy that knows the coach's system.
Well, and I assume too that he likes Kenneth Murray.
Right.
Because that's a move that they made early on in the offseason was to trade for Kenneth Murray. And, okay, Eberflus knows what's out there in free agency. He knows what he's got on this team. He's had time to look, and he knows what's around the league. And I'm sure he signed off on, let's get him.
And you can't hold your hat on Overshown to say he's going to be ready to start the season, because I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's got to start probably on
one thing about Murray, he'll be on PUP to start, but one thing about Murray, you look at his athleticism, and it's a lot like Overshown's athleticism.
And maybe
he can
now,
be used in a different way than what he was used either with the Chargers or with the Titans, as far as he's got the ability to get to rush as well. He's got some athleticism.
And this is an experimental time, right? It's not set in stone, right? Because he still might be in the middle. You don't know. So
seeing what you have.
It'll be interesting to watch these next couple days if they've adjusted anything, because one thing that Schottenheimer said was they're going to give different guys opportunities to work with the first unit, just to kind of say, okay, what can you do? Now, the reviews on him, by the way, and I think that's the first time we mentioned his name, from the player standpoint.
Who's him?
Schottenheimer.
Okay.
Remember him? He's the head coach. We're very high on some of the things that he's been trying to implement, team building, and all that stuff's great, right? But you got to have some talent to work with, right? The fact that
know how to play 'em.
He's trying to get more of the guys competing. They moved, for whatever it's worth, the ping pong table from the players' lounge into the locker room, and they were actually playing, right? And there's arguments about who's the best. In Dak's estimate, he calls him Banger, but it's Brian Anger, the punter. He's the best. He hits the home runs, and he's best at ping pong, and he's not a bad punter. The other thing they've done is they've moved a basketball goal up into the offices, and they're having free throw shooting contests for whatever that's
all
worth.
the team building.
Yeah, just to get guys to go up against each other, right? So I think that's great. And that's kind of his idea. I think we talked about it.
When you're bringing in a lot of different guys, that could be a way for them to
kind of get to
know each other.
His point was, I want everybody to know that guy's story.
Right.
And just so.
You don't want them isolated off in another place.
Right.
I agree.
Okay.
Another reason why Micah Parsons needs to be out there.
Man, that was fast.
It was. It went by very fast. Okay, we'll be back at our regular time next Monday at 11 a.m. for Mick Shots.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?